Aloha, dear Marsha. Where a bunch of friends have gotten together to just celebrate you and wish you well. And the first one to be here is your own Senator Mike Abbott.
Thank you, Lorna. Dearest Marcia, aloha, dear. There are many moments throughout our friendship that I look back upon fondly, but one experience that stands out above the rest, and I'm sure you'll remember too, is when you invited me to be on your Think Tech series, Cannabis Chronicles, a 10,000 year odyssey. You started off with a brief introduction of the history of cannabis and the plant from which it came, hemp, and your eyes lit up as you gave people a taste of this plant, metaphorically speaking, of course, uh, in all its forms food, fuel, fiber, and its various uses throughout the millennium on up to the present times. And then you turned to me with a huge smile and you said, "Let me introduce you to my dear friend, Senator Mike Gabbard." Now, I don't remember ever being introduced that way at a public event, and it really touched my heart. That was so kind of you to invite me to be on your show to speak about industrial hemp. It was a lot of fun. And because of your foresight and leadership on this topic, a lot of people got to learn more about the history and the benefits of hemp. And this helped me get my hemp bills passed at the legislature, which turned out to be a 6 year odyssey. So you see, I have my Hemp Aloha shirt on. So Hawaii will shortly become the hemp capital of the world. Hemp, hemp, hooray. You're a special lady, Marcia. Ke akua pu ahui ho. God bless you always until we meet again. Aloha.
Yes, thank you for arranging this wonderful tribute to a dear friend. You see in the back, I'm with the United Nations Association. And so she was on my board and also an advisor. Marsha and I share a peace history of more than 25 years. We met at the Dr. Martin Luther King event. And then since then, we have worked together on many, many tributes. And, you know, because she was there with Martin Luther King, right? So she would share that very, very powerful message with all of us at each MLK event. Then what we worked together was one of her passions was the Nagasaki commemoration, which happened on August 9th annually. So for the past 20 years, the MLK with her and the United Nations group and other uh, peace and interfaith groups, we have held this commemoration. As you know, she was a Nagasaki awardee, and you know, so we promoted non-nuclear proliferation, and one of the results was, you know, the sunflower project. Sunflowers um, detoxify nuclear waste. So I mean, she created for us a sunflower coloring book for the children. And so annually at Children Youth Day, we would have the children color and we would give them the story about the importance of sunflowers. And you know, sunflowers now are being used in Fukushima. They plant sunflowers to detoxify nuclear waste there. So that was one of the great things we did and hope together. Let's see. And coloring book project. And then I was really fortunate because I was with the Buddhist group called Soka Gakkai, and we were able to get her the Liberty Award. And she was so pleased because that was one of the first awards she received. And that was a time when we were hosting a peace concert with Herbie Hancock. So we had this wonderful association together. And then just most recently, we, and you know, our 70th anniversary United Nations, we awarded her another peace award for her peace work. So she has been a valid trooper for peace in our community, and it's been a privilege that I have been able to be with her. Let me see. And I was really saddened, of course, you know, because we've been through so many things together. But my friend Ed Young Sharon Yarborough informed us about her illness because we've been going through so many things together. So we went to visit her about a week ago, and we were, she's a historian, and so we were told stories, and she even found history about Nagasaki and the United Nations and prison, so we were sharing heartwarming stories, and it was such a privilege because and one of the things that I always wanted to share was that a peace prayer that I sang for her. And I'd like to close my portion of that, um, my portion with that prayer of I love peace and harmony. I'll sing it in Hawaiian for her. And thank you. E aloha mai I a'u. E aloha kako a pau. E pili mai pu'uwai kako. Aloha maluhia lokahi. Aloha maluhia lokahi. Thank you. Ahui ho, my dear friend Marsha. Until we meet again, we'll work together forever. Thank you, Lorna, for having us participate in this. And Mike Gabriel is my boss at City Hall too. I was at City Council, so we go back a ways. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Aloha.
Marsha, you've been the best vice chair a district could hope for. Plus, you've been a wonderful friend. I miss all of our phone calls, at least a couple, 3 a day. Not only have we been good friends, but we have a lot in common. We're both tigers, both born in the year of the tiger. We both owned beauty salons, both owned 2 each, and we owned and operated them simultaneously. So that's quite an accomplishment. This was after we've had our other careers. Okay, another unique factor about you is that our Vice President, Kamala Harris, is following in your footsteps. She's Black and Indian and also went to Howard University. So I think that's kind of unique and cool to have. Kate, I'm so happy I was able to be with you in your recent hospital stay, the night that you got your results from your doctor. I'm glad I could be there with you. It just seemed a natural thing for me to be there. I don't even remember when we met. It's been so many years ago. I remember, though, years ago you ran for Senate and you took on Sam Sloan, who's a powerhouse in Hawaii Kai, Republican territory. You ran with tremendous gusto and enthusiasm. I was so proud of you. We held numerous functions at your clubhouse that you sponsored for us. We had town halls, talk stories, meetings, and let's not forget all of our social functions. One of the more memorable functions you had there that I recall is our dear old friend Duke Bainham, who's no longer with us, but he was running for mayor of Honolulu. And we had a function for him there, a campaign function, and it just happened to be in November. You and I decided we were going to have a Thanksgiving dinner. So we made this turkey dinner with all the trimmings, and we had lots of people that night, but we fed everybody. The evening was a tremendous success, and I don't know if you remember these Duke Bainham pot holders. They're a little worn, a little dilapidated, but that's okay. So are we. I still use mine in my kitchen all the time, and when my daughter comes over, she'll say, "Hand me that Duke Bainham." So ours is still being used here. Another warm and fuzzy adventure we had, it's just a little thing, but it's something I'll always remember, was the night of Tommy Waters' election, this last election, where he won. And we were driving in my car, and I was so proud to have our whole cabinet together, including our vice chair. And we just talked and laughed the whole way there. I knew we would be in for a good evening. And we had a good one. Of course, he won. And we were on cloud nine on the way home. So we even did more talking and laughing on the way home. But it was just the kind of relationship we had in our district. It was just above and beyond. Sweet Caroline was with us in the car that night also. And she can't participate tonight, unfortunately, but she sends her love and aloha to you. Now, today happens to be Palm Sunday. And yes, I went to Mass this morning, got my palms. But just remember, the Lord is with us during all of our challenges. And we'll have so many more. Donald Kelper and I will be out to visit you soon when it's convenient for you and your daughter. Till then, my darling, love you.
Aloha. I'm just so happy to be here this evening on this Zoom to talk story with our dear friend Marsha. I just love the story that was just shared. And I only wish that your beauty salon was open today, because COVID has taken over my black and replaced it with white. And not so good, because now I really feel my age. Marsha, you know, you always brought life to a room by your uplifting stories and your feisty personality when advocating for a cause. And because you so embraced Native Hawaiians, I wrote a short oli for you in the hopes that it will uplift your spirit and bring a smile to your face. And you'll feel the love of all your friends here to honor you. And so this is how it goes. E ho'olohe e ku aloha. He puale ki aloha na u e malamane. Nau ino velo aku ko kupuna. Pauna palipa ika ikeia. Mahalo ya oe no ko hoaloha. A me kahana mai kai. Ike oe ikanani o ko na poe. I aloha ma ko ia oe. Ku'upua. Hua makamai. What this means is, it says, listen, dear friend, this flower of friendship, one that we cherish. It is you who delve and seek like your ancestors till the solid cliffs yield their secrets. Mahalo for your friendship, for your good work. You always see only the beauty and good in people. We love you, our flower, our cherished friend. We really miss you, Marsha. We just so thank you for, you know, all the memories that you gave us, and then for doing the kuka kuka on Oha in your attempt to help us to get the story out, the correct story out, and that people made really good informed choices. But that's how you are, and so we so appreciate you. Aloha mai, aloha oe.
This is Christopher Edwards. I know how much you love to hear that from me, you know, using my full name. I know how much that makes you smile. And so I'm so happy and glad to be here to chat with you and let you know that, you know, we love you. And, you know, I just love so much that you're an activist at heart, and that you have, you know, shown me so many important tidbits about, you know, our history, important things that shouldn't be skipped. And so I just wanted to, you know, have an opportunity to talk about your strength and your success and your great education and your willingness and ability to share that information with me. You've had such a great life, and it's been so great to have been your friend now. It's so amazing. Thank you so much. You were able to share and express so much of our history and your history with me, whether it's all the way back to Baltimore or, when you first, moved here to Hawaii in 47, and you kind of walked me through what was going on back then and kind of some of the challenges that we're still going through today, that are derivative of that segregated period from back then, and that the vestigial problems that came out of the Big Five and what they did back in the day to harm the democracy that we have and had then and have now, and what we can do to shake that up and get that repaired as a Democratic Party, and the party of the people. And so I do very much appreciate those walkthroughs that you gave me, and all those historical figures that we were working on, that they're working on together, and members of our party who have done so much to make things better for others. And it's so great that you have been able to share these issues with me. And I do really appreciate your spirit and your activism. Thank you so much. And I really do appreciate our friendship and love you so much. Thank you.
Marsha, one of the things that you and I talked about is our relationship. You always would remind me of how we did the Martin Luther King holiday. And you remind everyone, you like everyone to know about it because it was so very unusual. And I always went to you when there was something that wasn't working in our community, because you always knew who to talk to, what to do, and how to have it done. So that's why I went to you when I was upset about not having a Martin Luther King holiday in Hawaii. The other thing is that you were always upbeat. I mean, always upbeat. And it was so wonderful to talk with you. And you and I would compare notes. The other thing I want to say is, I love it when you would call me when you got sick and you would say, now, what was it we were making? And I would say, we're making lemonade, because we would look at the lemons that would occur in life and go, now, when there's lemons around, there's got to be a way to make the lemonade. So you and I would look forward to having that happen. You have and you are the pillar underneath the platform that I stand. And having you there as a pillar is always just been a comfort. There's been no issue about calling you up when something's going on. And you forever are looking for ways to make a contribution to a person personally, or make a contribution to the community. And your energy has been awesome. I can never match your energy. And so you are so well loved and so well thought of in my heart. Pretty much that's what I want you to know. We have so many great memories, you and I, together.
Yeah, I'm so blessed to be here with all these people, your friends for so many years, because I'm a newbie. Because even though I knew of you a long time ago, you just met me recently. But hearing them talk and tell their stories about you, it just is the same experience I've had meeting you in this short time with the Digital Equity Committee, because you're just such a burst of sunshine, a burst of energy, and it's a can-do spirit, You just said, we're going to get that money for us and we're going to make this project work. And you did. And you were so helpful. And it was always great to have you at a meeting. So I wanted you to know that we miss you. We miss your presence, and we're really grateful for all that you have done. And I want you to take care and be healthy and be safe with your family.
Joe.
I was going to, make some comments about Marsha. Marsha, are you listening, Marsha? Come on. Anyway, but I had like 3 hours of comments, and I didn't think that would work out. So I had to sort of skinny it down. But let me try to summarize what I would like to say to Marsha. Marsha, you're one of our oldest hosts on Think Tech. And I think you were born to do things like Think Tech. You're a media person. You were a media person the day I met you. You love to do those shows, and we loved having you on those shows. And you spread your good cheer every time you walked into the studio and you brought all these people. Daphne, for example, I'm looking at you, Daphne. You introduced me to Daphne, and and many others. But Marsha, I know your secret. You had a few words in Yiddish. I know I heard you say those words in Yiddish, and you had the personification of chutzpah. If you guys don't know what chutzpah is, it means nervy, nervy. Marsha, you've been chutzpah all the way through. And when I think of those Yiddish words and your knowledge of the holidays, the Jewish holidays, and your general demeanor about being chutzpah, I realize that I know, or I should have known, and I do now know your secret. Okay, and I want to reveal it to everybody. Marsha's secret is that she's actually Jewish. That's the thing, and I think she does very well at it. Marsha, you want to, please continue that, and it's Passover now, so I hope you're celebrating. Maybe this is a kind of celebration of Passover, very important holiday. The other thing I want to summarize is that Marsha took me around. She took me to City Hall, and we spent some time with a number of council members and Ikaika Anderson, and we interviewed him, and Marsha was the consummate interviewer. She spoke to power. She spoke up to power, down to power. She spoke right to power. And she didn't mind. She had the kind of courage that you need to do that. And we had some fantastic interviews where she revealed, Marsha, thank you for doing that. It was really a material contribution to our effort at journalism when you did that. So we went, City Hall, we went to the state legislature and interviewed people. We also went and we sat in the gallery while they were, doing discussion of bills. And I found that Marsha knew everybody in the place. And she has somehow achieved this Rolodex that goes from stem to stern. I don't know anybody who knows more people. And it's quite extraordinary that it's not that she knows people, it's that she knows people. She has relationships with them. Now, I distinguish the really good guys who they're good guys because they have individual relationships with individuals. In other words, they're not profiling anybody. What they're doing is they're talking to you. They have a special relationship with you. And it shows. If you know Marsha, she knows you. And you have that kind of special. She treats you separate from every other person in the planet. I'm sure you all agree. That's the way it is. She doesn't make any generalizations. It's all specific. So the other thing I was going to say is that, Think Tech now in terms of its video, Think Tech is 20 years old and its video is maybe 10 years old. And Marsha has been with us and she's done hundreds of shows over the past 10 years, especially in our studio, which began in 2014 or 2015. And she brought a lot of people down and she did a lot of subjects. And a lot of them were activist subjects. I mean, she's consummate activist, with the kind of people skills and the kind of, moral commitment that you need to do that. And I don't think I was an activist to the extent that she was at the beginning, but I think that somehow she affected me over these years, because I'm an activist now. I'm much more an activist than I was 5 or 6 years ago. And I can't help but think that Marsha's influence on me, had some effect on my own dynamic. Certainly, she became more of an activist, hitting more issues, bringing more people from more walks of life into her shows. And so I think, we've been on parallel tracks, and her track has affected my track. So thank you for that, Marsha. You've been a great contributor to my own thinking, and I really appreciate that. And of course, you've been a great contributor to Think Tech and its attempts to understand the world and this community. And you've made fabulous contributions to our lineup and our content and our general appreciation and demeanor. So I hope you recognize that I'm shortening this. There could be much more, and I hope you're watching it. Anyway, thank you very much, Marsha. It's been wonderful to know you.
Aloha, Marsha. Aloha, everybody else who's here to share their love and appreciation. Marsha, I remember when I first met you, and someone told me, go to the shop on Lure Street, because I was looking for someone to make my hair beautiful and me beautiful. And I walked in, and there you were, gorgeous as everything in the beauty shop. And there was Ken, your husband, tall and handsome. And I thought, oh, this is the place to be. I'm going to really look sharp when I'm a lawyer. When I go in court tomorrow, I'm going to look glamorous and beautiful, because there's Marsha sitting in the chair. And talking up a storm about the Democratic Party, asking me if I'm a Democrat, shouting out names of the governor, lieutenant governor, and everybody that she knew. And so I'm waiting to get my hair done, and I'm chatting with her. And finally, Ken says, okay, sit in this chair. And then he calls this other guy I didn't even know was in the shop over to do my hair while Marsha was nonstop talking. Then I realized at the end that she wasn't there to do hair. She was the person who was the PR person who just talked with everybody who came in to get their hair done. And when I came in the second time, I said, well, don't you do hair? She goes, oh, no. And so I figured that out after the second time. But, I did look good, not as good as Marsha at that time, but I did look good. And then Marsha, I remember you doing an opera. I was very impressed when you did that opera, and it was for the Queen Liliuokalani, during Martin Luther King's holiday. And it's about 10, maybe 12 years ago. And you did it at City Hall. And I was very impressed. And I meant to ask you about that during the show that we did. But you had so much to say that it slipped my mind. And we had to share the time with other guests. But when I do want to ask you about that opera, and I just want to tell you, I was very proud to know you and to see you at almost every event, every active event that was possible. Martin Luther King Day parade, you were holding the banner. Martin Luther King's dinner dance, you were there almost all the times. And I hope you're sharing your opera with other people as well, because that was very significant to have an opera at City Hall during Martin Luther King's holiday that you wrote, and this beautiful singer was singing it. It's just wonderful. So, Marsha, I'm so glad that I had a chance to meet you and share with you good thoughts.
Aloha, Marsha. I just wanted to say how much I've enjoyed working with you over the years. It's been an honor and a privilege. You've been involved in the community since long before I first got involved back in 2009, 2010. And in so many different ways, our paths have crossed at the city council, of course, when you were working with Councilmember Anderson. You've been involved in the Chinatown community, helping folks of Chinese heritage organize. And of course, you've been such a pillar of the Democratic Party in Hawaii Kai and East Honolulu. Over your years in Hawaii Kai, we've seen 3 state representatives, 2 state senators, and the city council member, all Republicans, slowly, one by one, go down to just 1 state representative left. And obviously that didn't just happen. It took a lot of work from people like you organizing rallies, even in these pandemic times on Zoom. And I can't imagine that anyone will be able to work so tirelessly to advance the good fight in our community. And I can't imagine what it will be like to organize without your efforts. I am truly sorry about this, but your legacy is a huge one, and I really appreciate having had the chance to work with you for a short time. And I hope that one day in the next life, our paths will cross again. And I'm sure you'll be working just as hard, if not harder, in that next life. And I will be in awe, as I am now, of all the good work that you'll be able to do. Thank you, Marsha, from the bottom of my heart.
Hi, Marsha. Well, I guess I remember all the way back to was it the 70s? And I was doing oral histories of Black women in Hawaii. And so I had an opportunity to visit you several times in that capacity and to hear your stories early on before I knew or understood how active you were in the community. Your journey from your famous family newspaper all the way back in Baltimore with Ken traveling around, military, and your obstacles, as was said before. And then it was like our paths kind of went different ways, not really because we saw each other at many events, but I was teaching and raising kids and you were being political, and but I always loved and respected you. I want you to know that. And I will publish the interview one of these days that I did of you because it's with you, because it's really valuable in terms of our history here in the islands. And I did pull a couple of short things. I'm a poet, forever being a poet. So I pulled a couple of tiny things to share with you. And one is by my favorite, one of my favorite poets, Rumi. And it says, "A wished for song. You are song, a wished for song. Go through the ear to the center, where sky is, where wind, where silent knowing. Put seeds and cover them. Blades will sprout where you do your work." And then the other small one I wanted to share with you, Marsha, it's from a book called Footprints. And my next to the last book was called Footprints, Wings, Phantasms. And I think that for those like you who are in leadership positions, and plus your dynamic personality and I guess I could say your aesthetic. I always appreciated your look and your environment and all of that. I know many of us did, but I especially did because my mom was like that. So I especially had an affinity. But anyway, let me just read this short one because there are other people that have things to share. And it's from this book called Footprints. That's what I was trying to say, yes. And these are biblical quotes. And I read many different things of enlightenment or that lift my spirits. And I know you do the same. So this little tiny passage from Luke, it says, "Because of the tender mercy of our God, the rising sun will come to us from heaven to shine on those in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the path of peace." And I know that so much of your life has been dedicated to peace. I mean, peace in the literal sense of the world and peace in between groups. And it just seemed right. So with that, I give my love. I'm glad that I have a chance to share on this, what do you call this, Zoom, with your friends and those who love you. And thank you, Daphne. And also Alice for letting me be a part of this, for sharing with me to come. All right, aloha.
Thank you for giving us this wonderful opportunity to spend a little time with one of our most precious friends from from the Democratic Party of Hawaii, and especially my memories and my thoughts of many times that we've been able to share with Marsha, and, you know, to give her definitely all my aloha from my heart. I have these flowers behind me. I look at you and I think of you, and that's where I thought, this is what I want to fill your thoughts with when we speak to you. When I speak to you, my husband and I have known you for some years now. And saying this and knowing you, like all our friends, we all have certain thoughts and memories of you, but there's one in particular that seems to stand out, especially for me, when I think of you, Marsha. And it has to do with ho'omana. And I just want to say, I'm going to do a pule for you. And I'll explain it first so that when I end, the last words that come from this pule will linger on, always with you, always to be there for you. The Hawaiian term ho'omana means to empower spiritually, derived from the root word mana, which is spiritual power. It literally refers to the conveying of a miraculous form of non-physical energy that originates from a divine source and exists in all of nature. That's you, Marsha. Traditionally, early Hawaiians believed that their deities possess large reservoirs of mana that could be spiritually accessed and or acquired by humans throughout prayer and offerings, religious rites, and ceremonial ritual. This pule ho'omana seeks the imparting of mana for the purpose of synergistically unifying the body, mind, and spirit, which I know you know how, Marsha, I know. So here is my pule ho'omana for you, my friend. Ano ai me ke aloha, e ke akua mana loa, e a kau kauwa, o Marsha, o Marsha. Ke noi akune au I ko olu olu, e ho'o mai ka I mai oi I au. E ho'o mana mai oi I ko uhane. Me ko mana nui, e ho I kaika mai I ko'u ola kino. E kokua mai ia u e ho'opio ika. Mana'o ino ka ili a me na ho'opo ilikia ana. I ho mai I ke ola mau, ia ka'u hai pule e ha'awi ia ne. Ma ka inoa o ke aloha, a me ke, a me ka, maluhia. A ma. Aloha, mahalo, and take care. Malama pono, Marsha. A hui ho.
Aloha. This is such an honor. Marsha. Marsha and her, I call her Queen Marsha. She's a queen. She just glides when she walks, and she has these beautiful nails, and she wears this beautiful turquoise ring. And Marsha and her husband Ken attended our wedding. That's how long I've known her as well. And she was just so gracious. I just moved to Hawaii. She took me under her wings, and we were members of the African American, what was it, Daphne? African American Association of Hawaii, where we would coordinate Martin Luther King dinners. And she was the perfect person to introduce me to Hawaii. She knew everybody. She was just a queen back then. She was confident, but her confidence was so queenly and elegant. This is what I liked about her. And she always had a story to tell. I love Marsha. Love, love, love Marsha. And I always think of, a woman without her sister is like a bird without wings. And she truly is my sister. She's my mentor. She's my queen. She is just a lady at all times, always a lady. So, Marsha, if you're listening, you remember us at the Hawaii Prince Hotel at our reception, and just her toast, the way she delivered the toast to my husband Tommy and I was just elegant. And as I said, she was always flowing through the room. And she was 5'1", 5'4", 11. I don't know. I was always in stilettos. But so I'm not sure. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. This is all I can say. This is all I want to say. And Lorna, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to share our love for Marsha. Aloha, everyone.
I just wanted to share what we're going to deliver to Marsha. Tomorrow, which is what Daphne told me I should do, which is a certificate of appreciation to honor Marsha Rose Joyner for a lifetime of activism, to activism and service to the people of Hawaii and the Democratic Party. And this is from the Oahu County Democrats. And Joe Francher, who is here too, is our treasurer, and he is not going to say anything now, but I just want to recognize that he's here. And going along with it will be these orchids.
Well, thank you, Lorna. Do you mind this, Daphne? I want to send appreciation to the Democratic Party and to you as chair of the Oahu Democratic. This is really lovely. But do you mind just reading what you wrote? Because it was a little blurry.
Oh, sorry. This is a certificate of appreciation to honor Marsha Rose Joyner for a lifetime of activism and service to the people of Hawaii and the Democratic Party. On behalf of Oahu County Democrats, Lorna Takehara Strand, Chair, March 24th, 2020.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yay.
Well, yeah, I just want to say, Marsha, I'm going to miss you. Many events, we would go way back. So the last time we spoke was last month. We were supposed to put up some kind of event, but I'm going to play something. If you listen to me, just move your toes and your fingers. I love you, Marsha. People, days when the rain came, down in Hollow, rain and the king, laughing and running, skipping in the jungle, in the empty morning, all of her, again, all I like were
Aloha, Marsha.
Aloha, Marsha.
Aloha, aloha.
Aloha.
Yeah.
Aloha.
Aloha, Marsha. We love you.
We love you.
We love you, Marsha.